Alright, so this is for the recording session for the sample space that we're going to be doing. Um, for statistics class, uh, already in the week 2 of our lesson, so we are in module 2, mainly in counting techniques. But before we go there to the counting techniques, actually it's going towards probability, the topic is going towards there. We need to know the basics first of sample spaces, or at least this will be this has been discussed supposedly during your senior high school years in terms of, but you can actually read it through our book here. Okay, so I'll just put it here on the side so that you can manage to see or to follow through where we are, what we are talking about. So these are all under the probability chapter in our book. Okay, so what is a sample space? Okay, so supposedly that you want to do something. Okay, and let's say for example you want to toss a coin. Okay, you want to toss a coin, and you would like to know what are all the possibilities or all of the possible results when you toss a coin. So in a coin we have heads as a result and tails, of course. So, therefore, these heads and tails, or the outcome, or all possible outcome, is what we call the sample space. Okay? All possible outcome, okay? All possible outcomes. Alright, so when you toss a coin, you don't get a different result, no? Aside from either it is a tail, heads or tails. Right? So uh, that is what we call the sample space. Okay? All possible outcome means that is the sample space. Okay? Yan. Lahat ng pwedeng mangyari. Yan yung sample space. Okay, so, how about, what do we call these heads? No? Itong heads na to, ay, no. Okay. So, what do we call these heads and tails? Okay, heads and tails are what we call, what? The, okay, okay. So, this is what we call the outcome. Okay? Or, if we already throw the data, or we already throw the coin, when the coin is thrown, the result thereof is called a what? An observation, or an observation. So let's say for example you throw the coin. Okay, for example, okay, the coin is thrown 3 times and is recorded for each throw. So the record kaya ganito yung lumabas, heads, heads, tails. Okay. So what is the sample space? Okay. So when we see what is the sample space, we're still referring to the all does just the possible results. So even if you have a long list of heads and tails, okay, when we say sample space, it only refers to the heads and tails because those are the only possible result. Okay, so but if it is asked like this, what is the second observation? Okay, so what we are trying to do is what we're referring to the second observation, which is the heads. Okay, so when we say observation, we are referring to the particular what? To the particular result inside the whole experiment. Okay, we use the word experiment. Okay, all of this, okay, is what we call an experiment. All of these three. Okay, the process in which we have generated all of it, or the process, no, in which, or the activity in which we generate all of these results. Okay, this is what we call an experiment. Okay, the throwing of the three coins. All right. So we have what? Observation. Okay. Already have these jargons. Observation. Okay. Observation. Sample space. And okay, the process in which ano may sabi dito? The process that in which, or process that generates the data. That generates the results. It's what we call an experiment. Okay? So, do not be confused by this, ha? Okay. So, let's go to the very basic. So, what is a set? Okay. In general, the set is what we call okay, the set of all possible outcomes, or I mean the what do you mean by sample space? I mean, so it means that these are all the possible outcomes. Okay, so if we're gonna be looking at this, no, example, okay, the sample space always refers to all the possible combinations, right? All possible combinations or results, right? Results or observation based on the definition or data, correct? So let's say, for example, we have a set, or we have a sample space that is what? Like this, for example, apple, banana, uh, oranges, and let's say strawberries. Okay, all of this, okay, is the sample space. Anything that is outside this list does not belong to the sample space. Okay, anything that does not belong here is not part of the sample space. It means that we are not expecting it to show up in our experiment. All right, so this is the samples. One good example of sample space. Another example of sample space is that we can actually define it. Like for example, x such that x is an even number below 100. Okay, so if we have such a definition, we know that um, only numbers that are below 100, okay, is included in this set. Okay, so are negative numbers included? Of course, they are included because it is below 100. So is 102 included? Or 100 itself included? No, it doesn't kasi because it's number below 100. No? So if we're gonna be asking like this, is 100 part of the sample space? So what is our answer? It is false. Okay? Because 100 should not be part of it. Correct? So that is what we mean by sample space. It is strictly a definition or a set of items. No? That is why whenever we do sample space, we need to be careful about how it was defined. Okay? Or if you can see a pattern, or if you can see how it is done, okay, Okay, so that is a sample space. Okay, so what is an event? Okay, this time what is an event? An event, okay, an event is what? A subset of sample space. Okay, this means that, let's say for example, okay, let's consider S here. So S is equals to X such that X is an even number below 100, and we say that an event E, okay, or an event E is defined as you can say that each number or all numbers or all positive numbers. Let's see, for example, all positive numbers less than 100. Okay, we can say that at least in this aspect that S or E or the experiment should always fulfill as well the conditions in the subset. Okay, it should belong there. Okay, it should be included because if it does not, no, it is not called an event. Okay, so let's get this one for an example. Okay, there, given the sample space t is greater than 0, where t is the life in the years of a certain electronic component, then the event needed the component falls before the end of the fifth year is the subset A, such that between 0 t is between 0 to 5. Okay, so you can see here that E is equals to, okay, x greater than can put it like this, okay, greater than 0, less than 100. Okay, so we know that this belongs, or this is a subset of it. Okay, so it should be like that. Okay, so we're not gonna be going through all of the parts of the subsets and sets because these should be included already previously, but let's go to some of the important um, examples. Okay, so this one, okay, I think this one is it. Okay, so let's say, so those are the events, huh? Okay, so let's say here again, uh, let's go for the example in the book. S is book, cell phone, MP3, paper, stationery, and laptop. Okay, so those laptop, or when we say that A, okay, when we let A is equals to book, stationary, laptop, then the complement of A is A prime, cell phone, laptop. So this one is what we call a complement. Okay, I think you already have this in your set theory, but let's say, okay, complement. What is a complement? Okay, a complement means, okay, does not belong to the what subset. Does not belong to the subset. Okay, so let's say for example, in the example we have A is equals to, I'll give a different example. A is equals to book and cell phone and MP3. Okay, when you say complement, now we put a quotation there on a quotation mark or a prime sign. A prime is what? Everything that does not belong to A. So we have book, cell phone, and MP3. Okay, so the things that does not belong with A is what? Paper, stationery, and laptop. So this is the A complement. Okay, paper, stationery, and laptop. Yan. Okay, so this is a complement. Okay, hope you can call this. Hope you can understand the basics of the sample or the set theory. This is set theory lang, no? Okay, so let's say have another example. Okay, intersection. Okay, so let's say B. Okay, let's say uh, B is equals to book, cell phone, okay, and laptop. Okay, say like this. Now we have an operator as well called intersection. Okay, in which we use it like this. We are looking for what is common between the two sets. Okay, so for this example, no, A intersection B. Okay, so A intersection B, what is common between A and B? We have book and cell phone. Book and cell phone. Yeah. Okay, so we have that. All right. Now, if it so happen that we have a certain set, okay, so that is an example of intersection, huh? Now, we also have what we call union. Union. Union or A union B. It means that we're going to combine all of the sets or all of the elements in each of the set. All of the elements or the outcomes for each of the sets. So, we have what? We have book, cell phone, MP3, and laptop. So, if you're gonna look at this, no, okay, ito na yung medyo, confusing part to many. Okay. So, if we're gonna look at this example, so we have book, the answer should be book, cell phone, MP3, and then laptop. Now, you're gonna say, hey, teacher, the book and the cell phone is what? Should be written twice because both A and B has that. 'Di ba? So, dapat twice siyang sinulat. Now, there is a rule, okay, in this operation that if A union B exists, okay, or A union B is not an empty set, okay, it exists or A union B is not empty, okay, it's not empty, it's not empty, therefore A union B is equals to A plus B minus A intersection B. Okay, this means that, okay, in other words, okay, A and B are what? What do you want with this one? Are not disjoint. If A and B are not disjoint, meaning, pag sinabi natin disjoint, they have nothing in common. Okay? However, they are not disjoint because what? They have book, cell phone, no? In each of them, which is common to both of them. So, they are not disjoint. So, if they are not disjoint, we use this formula for A and B. But, if they are disjoint, okay, ay, this means that when we say disjoint, nothing is common between them. Okay, so, but if A and B are mutually exclusive, yan, ibig sabihin na mutually exclusive, okay, A union B is just the addition of both set. Pag sinabi natin mutually exclusive, what does it mean? Okay, nothing is common between them. Okay? Of course, I'm not going to go through that very technical jargons, I'm making it as simple for you guys to be able to understand. So, I'm not gonna be strict in using uh, the strict jargons on this. Okay? So, when you say mutually exclusive, but as long as it is correct in its meaning, yeah. Okay? Pag mutually exclusive, meaning they're exclusive. Diba? So, nothing is common between them or no elements is common. Okay? So, nasundan ha? So, i-add lang siya pag nothing is common between them. Yan. Okay? So, ganun lang ibig sabihin nun. So, let's say, have this example. Okay, we have the following example. Okay, so meron daw set A, set B, and set C. And we have 7. Ito natin yung color. Ito siyang 7, 2, 1, 6, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So, sabi dito, uh, A union C. Sabi, A union C is equals to A union C. So, ano-ano yung mga yon? So, we have sa A, kung makikita natin dito sa A, okay, for at least here, no, ito yung A natin. So, what are the things that we have there, or numbers that we have there? We have 1, 2, 4, and 7. Now, we have also C, which is this one. Okay, and you see. Okay, so we have what? 3 and 5. So, bakit di natin inulit again yung 4? Tsaka yung 1 and 4 din, di ba? So, hindi natin inulit yung 1 and 4 because it's already included here, no? So, we can say that A and C is what? Not disjoint, di ba? They are not mutually exclusive, meaning 4 and 1 they share together. Okay? So, ganun lang yung ibig sabihin ng pagkuha niyan, ha? Okay, so the trickier part is this one. So, sabi dito is what? B prime intersection of A. Okay, pag ganito, unahin nyo lagi yung nauuna na sinabi, like B prime. So, ano ba yung B? B muna. So, tignan mo muna yung B. Ano ba yung sakop ng B? So, ito yung sakop ng B. Tama? Pero alin dyan yung hindi sakop ng B? We have this. Diba? We have this part. So, yung hindi sakop ng B is this part here. Yan. Yung part na yan. So, pwede mong gawin. Pag mahaba yun ngayon, lista mo lang muna. So, we have what? B prime is equals to what? Ano yun? 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5. Ayan. Okay? 7, 4, 5. Tapos, lista mo kung ano naman yung A. So, we have A. Natin to. So, we have A, which is what? Which is this one. Yan. We have what? 7. What is 7? Naipilit lang 7. 7, 4, 1, tsaka 2. Now, we have what? An intersection. So, ano gagawin natin? So, look at what is common between the two set. Diba? Okay. So, dito ka natitingin sa listahan mo. Okay. So, we have what? Which are the commons between the two set? 7, 4. Meron ba 5? Wala. Meron ba 2? Wala. Therefore, your answer for B prime intersection A is 7 at saka 4. Okay? So, ganun lang yung example niyan ha. So, iisa-isahin nyo lang kapag nalilito kayo. Okay? So, ito para sa inyo na to, yung A intersection B. So, tatlong listahan, look at what is common among all of them, which is yung 1, di ba? So, pag nakita kayo ng ganito, ng uh, not common or not ano, sagutan natin to, itong part sa dulo, paano siya naging 2, 6, and 7. Okay? So, ano natin lagay sa gilid? So, paano natin nasabi na sa gilid ganun siya dito. Okay. So, paano natin masasabi or masasolve tong A, union B, and then intersection ng C prime. Okay? So, paano natin isasolve yan? Unahin muna natin yung A union B. Okay? So, A union B is ano? Ano yung A union B? So, pinagsama-samang ito lang naman yun, di ba? Hindi makita pala. Yan. Ito lang naman yun eh. A union B. So, lahat ng mga nandiyan sa gold circle ngayon. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, tsaka 7. Okay? Tapos, kunin natin yung C prime. Okay? Ano yung C prime? Yung C prime, no? C prime is yung mga hindi kasali kay C. So, ito yun. Diba? Yan yun. So, we have 7, 2, and 6. 7, 2, tsaka 6. Okay? Now, tingnan natin ngayon. So, ano na nga yung example natin? Ito na tayo. So, what is A union B intersection ng C prime? Okay? So, dito ka na titingin. A union B, tas intersection. Ibig sabihin nun, ano yung common sa kanila? Diba? Oh, we have 2, 7, tsaka 6. Oh, 2, 7, at tsaka 6. Sundan. Okay, which is what? Also equal to C prime din, no? Pareha sila. Okay? So, you can also answer that C prime. Okay? So, pwede rin ganun. Alright. So, that is enough for our set theory. You can actually answer all of these na. Okay? I would like you to answer further these exercises clearly. Yan. And then check kung pwede ba ang sagot is like this one. Ito C sharp. C prime. Kasi exactly the same na C prime. Diba? So, look at this. No? Pwede nyo siya sagutan lahat. Now, I'll be creating another video, separate video, discussing the next iteration of the topic, which is, ano yung next topic nito? Sample points. Counting techniques na. Okay? So, I'll see you